4 mistakes companies make when they receive funding, usually private equity or VC funding. We're going to go through each specific step. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. All right, so for most organizations, hey, I just received funding. What on earth? What mistakes are there? How is that going to be bad? I just got the money I've been looking for. Well, the reality is more often than not, and I hate to say this, it's the truth, more often than not, a bunch of money can become really problematic for an organization. And I've seen this over and over and over and over. Because the first thing that most organizations do is it's almost like they lose their mind and they forget who they are. Now, what I mean by that is they think, okay, well, we've been small, gritty, bootstrapped. We've been really driving towards profitability. We're getting to that point where either a proof of concept or we're just profitable or things are working. It's turned over. The flywheel is working. And we're at a point where people are interested in what we're doing enough that they've actually given us funding. And the number of times I've seen PE or VC go and give people money and say, all right, kid, drive it like you stole it. Well, inevitably they do, and then people get pissed off and wonder why they ended up in the ditch. So with this, first and foremost, when you receive funding, make sure that you remember who you are. What are your core? Where are you at your core? And then very, very intentionally be very, very judicial with how you choose to spend and invest that money. Now, I've seen organizations get tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and have the PE or VC say, all right, we expect you to grow fast, grow big, and get high dollar people in. Theoretically, that can work, but it doesn't always work. And you really need to be intentional with how you're choosing to grow that plan. So when it comes to grow fast, I hear that grow fast, grow big, go, 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 go. I love that. And I love scale and I love growing fast. I've helped, I don't know how many, I've had 4 organizations go from entrepreneurial to nearly $1 billion market caps. And I don't know how many 10x growth spurts and big exits I've been able to help with. But it's one of those areas where people will screw that up. Growing fast does not mean, okay, now we have money, so now we need to act like a big company. If you are currently going from entrepreneurial bootstrap, small, grow, spurt, to, oh, we want to grow into a big company, well, this can actually become one of those really critical areas that just kill you. I mean, the number of times I've seen organizations go from a leadership structure that's lean, mean, driven, to way too heavy, where their SG&A is 60-70%, and they lose sight of actually what success looks like because they end up playing what they think, and this is the key, what they think they should be doing for growth, not necessarily what they know they should be doing to scale. And this is where, okay, well, we need to have these people and we need to have these types of processes and systems. So people is the third thing. Now, when it comes to people, this is an area, again, that I've seen people trip over and over and over. This is where we have a small, lean entrepreneurial group that's hitting a certain level. They've achieved a certain amount of success that actually went out and then created that success enough that it attracted people to come in and say, hey, well, we want to invest with you. So then it's as if the entrepreneurs lose their mind. They want to grow fast. So they go, okay, well, we need big corporate. We need people who are a big CFO, or we need somebody who's a big marketing person. And maybe they do. But the reality is those people need to be entrepreneurial, thinking in their way of doing things. If you have somebody that's transitioning from, say, big corporate, they've been in big corporate, and now they're going to come into a small entrepreneurial company that has money, oh my God, these people will spend money like crazy. And what they actually end up achieving sometimes is completely underwhelming. They build massive departments, massive teams, but they're not actually executing in the right ways. So the third thing, the first thing is don't lose sight of who you are. The second is growth is great as long as you're scaling and you know exactly where you're putting it, but don't just spend money to spend money. The third thing is making sure that the people you bring in when you start growing are people who have done this before. Not somebody who's coming from big corporate who, oh, we need a big name or a big title, or somebody who's been around the block in those spaces. Maybe, but you need somebody who's entrepreneurial, who's helped scale from where you are to where you want to go. Somebody who's been on that journey and can coach you on that journey. Not somebody who is, oh, they're big corporate and they know what big corporate looks like, because they're just going to build fat, top-heavy organizations that a lot of times will fall flat. And then lastly, and I just sort of came to this conclusion, is the fourth thing that we need to look out for is making sure that we have the wrong systems. It's again one of those areas that as companies evolve and they grow, they go from gritty, small, entrepreneurial, and maybe they've got success, maybe they haven't, but they've gotten enough attention from somebody else that they start saying, okay, private equity says, hey, you guys need to grow fast, go out there. Fine. If we're deploying the resources and we're scaling, and we know that I put in $1 here and I'm going to get $1.20 there, great. I'm over that, all day long. But if we start having systems that, oh, we need better metrics, we need better predictions, sometimes we do. But I have also seen countless organizations drown and hide in dashboards and new systems and new computer softwares, to where people literally, they don't even know how many software programs are running. They don't know how many programs they have for dashboards. And people just end up in this analysis paralysis. Because again, number 3, sometimes we end up with those people that's where they're coming from when they live. And there ends up being this giant disconnect between the entrepreneur and the big corporate person on, well, we need to have the right tools for metrics. You do, but you have to be able to follow that balance. So these are some of the growing pains, and I've seen this over and over and over and over in so many different ways, that when we start to receive funding, fantastic, but let's be very intentional with how we choose to do it. So ideally you found some value with this. If you did, cool. If you got questions, you want to reach out. If you're in the private equity space, VC space, you're working with organizations, I look for 3 things for organizations if I choose to work with them. Number 1, does that senior leader and leadership team have a self-awareness that they're becoming the choke point in their growth? Do they realize they're the bottleneck? Number 2, are they dreaming audaciously? Are they looking to go over the moon? Do they want to take it to a whole different level? Because the reality is if you want to grow 20% next year, there's about 100 different ways to do that. You want to grow 100x in the next 5 years, it's a lot smaller path, and it ends up being a great forcing device to say no, and I love working with that. And then lastly, are you willing to be incredibly audacious and disruptive in how you're looking at things? Virtually everybody has the ability to be disruptive right now, and if you're not thinking that way, you're going to get run over. So those are the 3 things I look for. Look forward to hearing from you. Keep smiling.